Game jams. They're events where thousands of game developers take on a challenge to make a game based on a certain theme in a short time frame, to torture their sleep schedules. Now, why would anyone participate in that?
Game jams are all about having a good time and at the same time improving your skills.
Fun and learning. More like torture and learning how to lose sleep. And guess what? I'm gonna do just that. Because I didn't have time, I decided to have a bit of fun and speedrun the jam in 5 hours instead of the given 72 hours. So yeah, I started by booting out the marvelous Godot that doesn't charge us game devs per install, unlike a certain engine that I'm not going to name. It's Unity. I am my words. Anyways, I created a new project with the name of Ludum Dare 55, cause what better name is there than the name of the jam when you don't have an idea yet, right? Speaking of ideas though, it's probably a good time to brainstorm for the ultimate idea. So, summoning her. That's a pretty broad theme, but guess what? All I can think about is giant rocks, aka boulders. So what's the deal with them? Well, the idea is to have a circle with hands cause my art skill sucks to summon boulders out of thin air. And the longer the player holds on, the larger it gets, but at the same time it also gets heavier to throw and inflicts more damage on enemies. Thus born the name Boulder Bashers. Now, that sounds like an easy enough idea to do in 5 hours, right? Yeah, I think so. Anyways, I hopped right into creating a circle in Illustrator cause it literally is the main character of the game. Afterwards, I realized that our circle boy had no hands, which isn't going to be good. So I quickly searched for some references on the hand cursor icon cause I don't study hands for a living and they're too complex for someone drawing using their last brain cell. Then I basically just traced the whole thing, made a couple of tweaks and boom. The hand is my property now. Alright, next I slap the character and the hands into Godot. Hey, wait a moment. Godot's logo doesn't have hands. What if it did though? Okay, this is cursed. Anyways, add voila. Circle with hands. Behold the fine viewers, for this very painting before your eyes is valued at $5 million.
I can do better.
Let's stop getting sidetracked for a moment, shall we? So, I decided to cure the circle from paralysis by simply feeding it some code. Nuclear code. Circle boy, you wanna know the code to launch nuclear bombs? No? I'll tell you anyways. Just like that, my boy Circle Boy now moves around smooth as butter. Did I mention that I added some animations to the hands? Like this boring idle animation or this absolutely sick throwing animation. But right now Circle Boy is throwing air. So because airbending is invisible, I decided that it isn't fun. And now Circle Boy is an earthbender. Yeah, I basically added this small little pebble which is just a circle, cause again, my art skills totally sucks. You know what I'm good at though? Hiding the fact that my art skill sucks, cause BAM! Godot's particle system saves the day. Now there's a swirling mass of particles like you're some wizard.
You're a wizard. Circle.
Anyways, right now the boulder just stays right there and does nothing, so I naturally had to fit Circle Boy some top secret launch codes. Just like that, Circle Boy now has the ability to nuke at will. Damn it, I think I gave it the self-destruct code. Well, there we go. It can now launch small circles. Yeah, speaking of small, we gotta make the boulder grow, right? So I sent the dumb circle to wizarding school.
A few moments later.
Alright, that was quick. Let's see his powers. I'm impressed by how fast it learned the skills, but whatever, let's move on. I next made the boulders disappear after a while cause I don't want my laptop to commit arson if that's too much boulders. Whee!
NANI?!
Apparently Circle Boy has been learning from the noseless wizard who taught it these devious tricks. Well, I brought its pixel and had it fixed. Now it's working perfectly fine. Anyways, the background does look a little bland as of right now, so I meshed together a square chunk of the sky using the gradient tool and used the best way possible of putting it into the game. I used some good old glue, just like how as Google's overview AI says, put glue on your pizza yum yum. And my interpretation of those wise words is that glue fixes everything. And to my surprise, it worked. And because clear skies are boring, I decided to add some lumpy boys, aka clouds. I was having the time of my life playing with those clouds, but that's when I realized I had 1 hour remaining. It was time to activate panic mode. So I quickly made an enemy by turning the player red, cause red equals bad, right? Then because I didn't want to deal with pathfinding and I feel like these red boys are dumb, I made them move their X position towards the circle boys' X position. Next I slapped a couple of platforms into the scene and also some particles so that the spawning point of the enemies looked cooler. And bam! Enemies that never die or hurt you are born. I mean, they're kind of friendly. You know what I should do? Stop hitting the play button every single time I make a tiny adjustment. Alright, it was very late into the night and at this point I was feeling really tired, but I pushed on and used all my remaining energy in hopes of missing the time limit. Now, there are good news and bad news. The good news is, I basically had only a few features left to implement. Well, the bad news? My laptop was lagging, like a lot. You know, if it's a really cold day, just call me to your house and help me develop a game. Anyways, I made the enemies disappear when they get hit enough times, and I also slapped a score counter into the game. I quickly put together a start menu and realized that you don't die in this game, thus I made a game over screen and made Circle Boy die. And then I realized that I still had time, so I just put on some finishing touches like health bars for the enemies, more platforms, better looking menus, and finally some sound effects and a sick music track by Hilly Bros. With that done, I had 2 minutes remaining. So I mustered up my remaining functioning brain cells, exported the game, uploaded it to Edge, and submitted my game to the Ludum Dare 55 gem page and just collapsed into my cozy bed. Well, here's the game in action, guys. And if you want to play it, the link is in the description. Yeah, there are a lot of problems with this game, like the fact that sometimes you fall through platforms for whatever reason, or the camp spot that allows you to infinitely play the game, or the way too fast spawning rate of the enemies. So if you want to have a challenging play, don't just camp and try to deal with the horde of enemies. I was just too tired to fix anything, and I probably would keep it this way, cause 5 hours is 5 hours and I'm not going over. One last thing though, guys. If you want to see me make a horror game in 7 days and fill the gem submission period, click here.